Hello everyone, it is Walt here once again doing one of my famous walk and talks on this video because I know you guys sometimes appreciate these. Here we are with part 36 of 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself on this absolutely beautiful day, enjoying ourselves outside and talking about principle 36. Last time we were talking about talking to yourself, and this one is maybe even a more useful principle. I don't think I could have said that before I thought more about this one, on top of the fact that I already use this one a ton. But this one is one of my favorite principles, okay? And this one is to schedule your comebacks, plan your comebacks. And the real point of this principle is that so many people don't understand the rhythm and flow of success, that it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And he says that it's a wavy line instead of a straight line. Most people will draw a straight line to their goals, which is generally the right idea for how you should try to achieve your goals, is draw a straight line to them. But the problem with drawing a straight line is that it's not going to work that way. A lot of growth, as I talked about in a specific video about exponential growth, really is like that, okay? That's why I've also talked about that one in my video about how life is like, a marathon instead of a sprint, and kind of the effect of exponential growth on that one. But regardless of my other material, because I could go on all day about all the stuff I've talked about here. What do you think, Crow? Anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff there about that kind of idea. But on top of it just being fun, this one is extremely useful because so many people think that they're just going to end up where they want to go, and they have so much perfectionism, so many problems when they don't just instantly get where they're trying to go. They think, okay, I've put in so much effort, I've made like all these videos, I've written all this material, I've gone to all these publishers, I've worked on all my essays, I've done all this work, why does it feel like I've gone nowhere? And then later on, sometimes they feel like I'm getting it, and then they backslide, and they're like, why did I backslide? I was doing everything perfectly, I was meditating every day, everything was going great, and then suddenly I'm not, as enlightened as I felt like I was then. I'm no longer on top. How come I've slid backwards? And one thing you'll realize the more and more you do this, kind of with the pattern, as he says perfectly in this instance, is that when you go forward, there will be times when you're going to backslide, when you're going to, end up taking a step back. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And that when you mathematically can kind of determine when that time is that you're going to take a step back, block out the time for it. Now, this one I think is really hard for people in our modern society or modern day and age because they constantly have a need to work all the time. At least this is something I once suffered from, was this kind of overly zealous attitude of work and work and work and work. And then I would never get any rest. I would lose a lot of inspiration and desire for what I was doing. I would push on things and work like 14-hour days on this kind of material, and then soon enough I was sick of it, miserable of it, and I kept feeling like I was sliding backwards and going nowhere. And the real reason for that is because you can't just push all the way to your, you can't just push everything to the limit, have it be an absolute success, just like a montage in a movie, okay? What you do need is you need time off, okay? You do need times to recover. Stuart Wilde also has a wonderful principle on this topic. This one where he talks about how he has a friend of his in motivational speaking who will go for a while doing his things, zooming around the world, talking to people, doing all this stuff. But then he'll take like 5 days off, go out in the desert with no phone, no like anything, and just kind of meditate. And that's all he needs in order to run around for another 3 months doing this. But basically, everybody needs to rest at some point. We are not machines. We cannot just work ourselves to death. And even machines need repair at some point. Now, you could argue for some kind of model to machines to make them even better, to not need repair, to have the right inputs, to be able to gather their own materials, to be able to use the right things that are not going to rust, not going to be worn out. But regardless of this, and regardless of how good that metaphor is, the main point here is that we all need to block out time for our recovery. So we can plan out times for our basic recovery. This is something I need to do more as well, so you're not the only one out there with this kind of thing. But when you block in time for your recovery, you think, okay, I can do this. I'll just, take a little time here to recover. Then soon enough, you'll be back on top. And he says that coming back is one of the best experiences you'll ever have. So getting away even from the things you love, even from the people you love, even from your favorite work, your favorite activities, can be extremely useful and just completely necessary. So look out for that pattern of how you're going to have some time off from your stuff and plan it in. And that way, it can easily work out. That's about it for part 36, guys. I will see you next time with part 37. So stay tuned. I'll see you then.